The first ships appeared at the edge of Zephyrian space like shadows bleeding through reality itself. Dark hulls that seemed to absorb starlight, moving in perfect formation with the precision of a funeral procession. Admiral Vextar of the Galactic Coalition's Third Fleet watched the readings with growing unease, his scaled hands gripping the command console. "Identification signals, Commander," he asked, his voice carrying the authority that had kept peace across 17 star systems for the past decade. "Nothing, Admiral. They're broadcasting on old Earth frequencies, pre-coalition era. The computer can barely decode it." Commander Thala's tentacles writhed nervously as she manipulated the scanning arrays. "Wait, we're getting something." A single transmission, repeating. The bridge fell silent as the message played through the speakers, a woman's voice speaking in ancient Terran standard, each word measured and cold as the void between stars. "This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the Terran Exodus Fleet. We have come home." Admiral Vextar felt his blood chill. Every species in the Coalition knew that name, the lost queen of humanity. The woman who had vanished into dark space 3 centuries ago when Earth fell to the hegemony invasion. According to the histories, she had led the last of humanity's survivors into the unknown, never to return. "How many ships?" he whispered. "Sensors are having difficulty. The fleet composition is unlike anything in our databases. Conservative estimate, 2,000 vessels." "Admiral." Thala's voice cracked. "Some of these signatures are massive. Larger than anything we've ever seen." Through the view screen, the funeral fleet continued its inexorable advance. As they drew closer, the true horror of what they were witnessing became clear. These weren't just ships, they were monuments. Each vessel bore the names of dead worlds: New Geneva, Kepler's Hope, Terra Nova, and countless others. The Coalition had heard whispers of these colonies from human refugees, but they had assumed them long extinct. The largest ship, a colossus that dwarfed even the Coalition's greatest dreadnoughts, bore a simple designation across its prow in letters that seemed carved from solidified night: "Earth remembers." "Admiral, we're receiving another transmission," Thala reported. It's coming from everywhere. Every ship in their fleet is broadcasting simultaneously." Sarah Chen's voice filled the bridge again, but now it carried the weight of centuries, the accumulated grief of a species that had watched its worlds burn. "We left as refugees. We return as mourners. For 300 years we have carried the ashes of our dead across the dark. We have built ships from the bones of shattered worlds and forged weapons from the tears of orphaned stars. The galaxy thought humanity was broken. The galaxy was wrong." Admiral Vextar activated the fleet-wide communications. "All ships maintain defensive positions but do not power weapons. We're dealing with forces beyond our understanding." The funeral fleet continued its approach, and now individual vessels became visible. Each ship was a work of art and terror, sculpted from materials that seemed to bend light around them. They moved with purpose that spoke of technological advancement, far beyond anything the Coalition possessed. Humanity had not merely survived in the dark, they had evolved. "Admiral," the tactical officer called out, "their lead ship is requesting permission to dock." Before Vextar could respond, space itself seemed to fold. The massive flagship materialized alongside the Coalition command vessel, with technology that made their best scientists look like children playing with toys. A docking tube extended, not thrust out mechanically but grown like living metal reaching across the void. The airlock cycled and she entered. Sarah Chen had been 35 when she disappeared into dark space. The woman who walked onto the bridge appeared unchanged by time, but her eyes held the accumulated sorrow of dead civilizations. She wore a simple black uniform adorned with a single medal, a small piece of blue marble. "Earth." "Admiral Vextar," she said, her voice carrying impossible authority. "We bring word from the dark places between stars. The hegemony that destroyed our worlds is returning. The scouts we left in the void have tracked them across galaxies. They come for you now, just as they came for us. The hegemony was defeated centuries ago," Vextar protested. "Your histories are incomplete." Chen's gaze swept the bridge, touching each officer with the weight of absolute certainty. "They were not defeated. They were delayed. But She gestured toward the view screen where the funeral fleet waited in perfect formation. "We learned patience in the dark. We learned to build ships that sing funeral songs for dead worlds. We learned to weaponize grief itself. She approached the main display and activated controls with technology that interfaced directly with coalition systems despite being centuries more advanced. Star charts appeared showing the galaxy's outer rim, and there, emerging from the space between galaxies, came the hegemony. Millions of ships, each one designed for a single purpose, the extinction of all other life. They come as they came before, Chen continued. But this time they will find the galaxy defended. This time they will face humanity's answer to genocide. She turned to face Admiral Vextar directly. We offer the Coalition our protection. We offer our ships, our weapons, our knowledge bought with the blood of every human child who died when Earth burned. In exchange for what? Vextar asked, though he already knew. Nothing, she replied simply. We ask for nothing because the dead cannot benefit from payment. We fight because it is what humanity does. We fight because someone must stand between the darkness and the light. Through the view screen, the funeral fleet began to spread out across the star system, each ship taking position with mechanical precision. They were no longer refugees or mourners. They were guardians, standing vigil over a galaxy that had once watched their worlds die. Sarah Chen, the lost queen who had become Death's own admiral, looked out at the stars her people had once called home. We returned to the stars, she said softly. And we brought the wrath of the dead with us. In the depths of space, 2,000 funeral ships waited for war to begin again.